up, y'all? This is your girl Renee Warren Peoples, and welcome back to the Bobby and Renee Show. This is...
Well, you're not going to introduce my name? You just said your name, then you went to the show, so I mean, I'll just...
Renee Warren Peoples, and welcome to Bobby and Renee Show. This is...
Bobby, obviously. Jeez.
What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
So today's topic is going to be about...
I forgot. Fears of getting remarried after the divorce? Is that the topic?
You know what?
I forgot.
Really? How we both gonna forget?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, y'all.
I think that's the topic. Fears of getting married after
Remarried after divorce.
Right. Fears of getting married. Well, believe it or not, this is both our second marriage. But I didn't get... My first marriage didn't end in divorce. Hers did.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was your fear of getting remarried?
Well, a lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know so much as fear. It was more anxiety for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't know what to expect in this relationship.
Right.
My ex-husband and I are still friends. We're friends. We're good friends until this day.
Oh, yeah, good friends.
And so, and you come on, and he's friends with Bobby too. He know him. He met him and everything. So, you know, this isn't about a bashing of the exes or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is simply saying,
how can you do it?
How can you get past that I guess stepping stool? I got married the first time I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
We both were. So, and I think that with that being said, we wasn't quite ready for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And but we did it, and it lasted for almost 5 years. And then after that, before I met my husband, I was single, meaning, you know, not married. I was in another relationship before him, but not being married for about what, 6-7 years span before I actually met my husband after my first divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so in meeting him and talking about marriage, I was nervous because I felt as though that I may not have been ready.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to make sure that I wasn't carrying any baggage from my previous relationships over into my marriage. And that's a lot of times that's what happens. You know, we carry this baggage over into our new relationship.
That is true.
So I wanted to make sure that I was coming correct. I wanted to make sure that I was able to correct those things that I did wrong in my first marriage.
Oh, so you
that I
admit you
wouldn't.
did things wrong?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right.
If I was perfect, then we wouldn't be divorced.
No, and that's not necessarily. You could be perfect, the other person could be imperfect.
No, we were both imperfect.
Okay.
We both had faults. So if I was perfect, then we would probably still be married.
Oh.
So I had to just make sure that those things were, you know, kind of fine-tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm perfect now, because by God, I am not.
Yeah, you're not. You're good. You're good. Continue.
But that was what scared me the most. I just didn't want to go into another marriage and get divorced again.
How do you get over that, though? Like, you know, the fears. Like, talk about the fear. How do you get over that? Because I'm sure some people watching who have gone through divorce, but they think about getting married again. So how do you get over that fear?
The funny part about it is, like, what was it, 2 weeks before the wedding? You remember when I had called it off?
Yeah, she called it off.
And 2 weeks before the wedding,
yep,
my family had already planned to be here. They had already gotten everything together, you know, that whole nine. And 2 weeks before the wedding, I was like, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to do this. I was really, going through some anxiety. And my mother had to sit me down.
That's right.
And talk to me.
Put that belt to her butt.
And talk some sense into my head, because I was talking myself out of marrying my best friend.
Yeah. See, I could have married some midget right now.
You sure could have.
Yeah.
And,
so you lucky.
Yeah. No, you're lucky, buddy. Because this marriage almost did not happen. And so, getting over it, I got past it. I tucked away those anxieties or those, you know, second thoughts that I was having.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I trusted God, and that's what I needed to do. Now, I'm not saying that first year, that second year, that third year, or that fourth year was easy. It wasn't.
For me, it was.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It was not. I gave you hell just like you gave me hell.
I didn't give you hell on purpose.
But because we went through some things, y'all, we did, mentally and emotionally. Some battles and stuff that he had to fight on his own, and some things that I had to fight, you know, mentally and emotionally. And fighting those things, we brought it into our marriage.
Yeah.
The one thing that I tried to prevent, the one thing that I did not want to happen. So in trusting God, I said, okay, Lord, you know, this man loves me wholeheartedly. He wants to marry me. You know, I'm taking on a responsibility of raising 3 children, because he was a single father when I met him. And in raising 3 children, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? You know, I was nervous. I was scared, y'all. I was not only just taking on him, but he had custody of his 3 children. So that right there was anxiety in itself. So getting past it and getting over that hump and making it down the aisle, if it wasn't for my mother, once again, we probably would not be married today.
Thank Shawty for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to thank Shawty for that, because she had to really sit down and talk to me. And some of the things that she said was that, you know, don't allow fear or anxiety to get in your way of marrying someone that loves you wholeheartedly and that you love.
Right.
You know, you pass up this opportunity, who's to say that it's going to come back again? You know?
Yeah, because I don't go backwards.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. And she was like, this man, even today, she was like, he works, he come home, he bring the money to you. He don't beat you. He don't disrespect you. He's not out there running the streets. He's not. And I'm like, yeah, I know all of these things, but I'm still nervous. She didn't understand, like, my anxiety was like, do I really want to commit my whole life, my whole world? I was just really getting to know myself all over again. I was just really, you know, getting to love myself and to understand what Renee wanted. You know, although, you know, he was not, his first marriage and in divorce, his first wife, she was sick and she passed away. God rest her soul. Right. But at the time, they weren't together. They were separated at the time.
Yeah. It was due to a lot of her sickness, and, you know, it was hard to try to raise a family with kids who were young at the time. The twins were very young. Yeah. And try to take care of a sick wife and work, and you know, I just couldn't afford to do it. So, you know, we decided to separate, still remain cordial and friends, and separate, and, you know, things just happened.
Yeah, it was a lot of, you know, episodes for him where it was just a mental breakdown in the process of her actually going through her sickness. So I mean I understand it was very hard for him. Now, how do you feel though with getting remarried? Because you still had to get remarried. Do you have an anxiety?
I didn't have an anxiety because, like I said in that last video a couple weeks ago, is that a man, he knows he may not know who's going to marry, but he knows who he don't want to marry. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I knew I wanted to get married. I've always wanted to be a man. I always wanted to be a husband. You know, okay. I've always wanted that title. So when I had someone that I loved and then my kids loved and liked at the time, and we both shared a common interest, and we had grown quickly, really fast, as far even in our friendship. You know, we were sharing things and doing things together, you know, just without the whole sex stuff. So I wasn't nervous. It's just that I had already made up in my mind, like, if I'm going to marry somebody, I'm going to marry somebody that I can have a relationship, I guess, spiritually, socially, and, you know, in any kind of way that we're well rounded. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I can talk to you about anything, and we can have a part of any part of my life that I'm going into or want to go into. I know that I can do it with you because you're going to be that ear of good advice or bad advice, whatever the case may be, to make things happen. So, no, it wasn't a fear for me, but it was something that I knew that I always wanted to do. So, going forward, for people who want to get married after the divorce, you have to understand that, you know, what happened in the past happened in the past. And don't try to pick all the negative things out that past. Pick all the good things out of that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told Renee, a friend of mine, we got into an argument before, a while ago, about a tattoo. I said, well, I'm gonna get a tattoo of my wife on my body parts or whatever. And he was like, well, why you wanna do all that? I mean, if y'all don't make it together. I'm like, well, first of all, that's my wife, regardless of the fact. And second of all, even if I had a tattoo and something were to happen, whereas though we were to separate, that's still a chapter of my life that I don't regret, the good times and the bad times. So, and that just, that's just a memory of those times. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of life. So you have to understand that when you do remarry or go into divorce, whatever the case may be, you have to understand that part of your life is a chapter, and what makes you who you are today to be the person you need to be for the person coming in.
That's right.
So.
That's right. I mean, that is true. That is very true. You are groomed, and you are, getting prepared for that next go around. Yeah. Some people say, oh my God, this is my third marriage. Well, then, you know what? Three's a charm sometimes. Yeah. That doesn't mean that because this is your third marriage, you don't want to do it because this is your third marriage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you love each other and this is something that you both want, go for it. Yeah. Just make sure that there is some type of change there. Right. Because you cannot go into it with the same mentality that possibly ended the first marriage. Right. So you have to know when to change. You have to know the things that you need to do to change, and also get to know who you are. Because if you don't know what makes you happy, how in the world do you expect for this person to come along and make you happy? Your joy comes from within. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. And there's no person on this earth that can make you happy.
Now, especially because if you're not happy with yourself, no matter what that person do, you're not gonna be happy. So you're right. You're right. You have to be happy. You have to want to be happy. But you also, like I said, don't pick all the bad things about. Pick all the good things that you liked from that pre-relationship, and then you transcend that into the new one. And then if the new one goes bad, then take all the new stuff out of that one too, and go to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it takes. As long as you're doing it for the right reasons. But one of the key things is that you have to be friends. You have to be a friend. And I think a lot of marriages fault because they're not friends. Yeah. They do it. They go into like a business, which is sometimes good to do, but they go into it like a business transaction. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, it's nothing personal. It's just business. So, which is fine. But if you lack that friendship and that, no matter what kind of business you do, the respect will be gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, it's just a business. Yeah. But once you establish that friendship,
that foundation,
then nothing else can, come to a part. Other things can hurt it, but it can never break that bond. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, you always gonna have that friendship. And with friends, sometimes you just go a year without speaking to that person, and then come back like nothing ever happened because that friendship was there. Yeah. So
that's true. That's that foundation. You got to have that friendship. You have to have that trust. When trust is gone, it's hard to get it back, but it can come back. It's up to you. That can't be an excuse where, they did this to me and they did that to me and I just can't forgive them or I just can't get that trust back. No, it's all up to you.
Yep. All up to you.
It's all up to you. And if you decide not to trust them again, then that's on you. It's not because you can't, because you can. Right. People make mistakes. People are human. I'm not saying that everybody is supposed to be perfect. No, this was a man before you married him. This was a woman before you married her. So please know that no one is perfect. People do make mistakes, but it's up to you whether you're going to forgive that person and move on, whether you're going to continue to bring up what they've done, because if you continue to bring up what they've done, then you haven't forgiven them. Nope. And you have not moved on. So we're going to have to learn to establish that trust and that respect, and most important is the communication.
Yep. Communication.
Oh my gosh, I could not stress that enough, people. Communication is the key to your relationship. If you're not communicating, and if that person don't know how you feel by you telling them,
don't assume.
We can't assume.
Never assume. I mean, Renee does to me all the time. She assume I know everything, but I don't.
Wait a minute, what?
I don't. You got to tell me what it is that you want me to do. Don't assume that I know that you want me to do that.
Listen, now when it comes, okay, so we're about to veer off topic. You already know, because he talk about assume. Listen, if I say take the trash out, that means just take out the trash. It doesn't, I shouldn't have to tell you step by step. Honey, take the trash out and put a trash bag in the trash can.
But I'm only doing what you said do.
My
you
husband is very, you tell him to do it, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's not going to do anything more or anything less. And saying. You know what? The kids are the same way. That is very frustrating to me because I believe in going over and beyond. Him, it's like, okay, this is what you want me to do. That's exactly what
I'm being obedient. I'm doing exactly what you want me to do. But
here's the thing: I've learned that about him and now I know that that's how he is. So if I need to tell him the steps to do, then that's what I'm going to do because that's him. Until he learned that, you know what, my wife said take the trash out, but I'm sure she meant let me go ahead and put the trash bag back into this trash can.
No, because then what's gonna happen? I'm gonna put a trash bag in, and she's like, "Why you put a trash bag in? I gotta clean the trash out."
Well, see, there's another step. So if the trash can need to be cleaned out, then you clean out the trash can, right?
No, you're going to be like, why you put a trash bag in there and then clean out the trash can? I'm like,
the kids will put trash bag on top of a dirty trash can or something spilled in the trash can, and you're supposed to clean the trash can out.
So you have to be literal.
It's something different. Let me tell you, honey.
That's how men think.
It's something. You are absolutely right, and I've learned that, and I've learned to appreciate and respect you anyway. You know, and we just keep on moving past that, and we push past it. You know what I'm saying? If the clothes need to be folded up, you fold up the clothes, put them on the bed. That's fine. Whatever it takes.
No.
It would take hours for the clothes to make it to the closet.
I'm saying, but I folded them up, and I got called to do something else.
He folded up, so half the clothes has been folded, put in the closet. The other half is still in the laundry baskets. He told me not to touch them because he was going to fold them up. Yeah. I have not touched those clothes, but let me tell you, I am getting so sick of seeing them clothes in that laundry basket. We have still 2 laundry baskets.
No, those are socks.
No, it's not just the socks. You got Bryson's little basket, and then you got the other basket that got the curtains and stuff in there.
No, no, that just came in the room.
No, that didn't. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I folded.
See what I'm saying? All the clothes are now folded up. Guys,
up.
I am going to go in here and just go ahead and put the rest of these clothes away because it's going to be time to wash again.
No. Anyway.
But that's what happens. See, this is the stuff that married couples argue about, which is fine if you know how to get past that and not let that break up your marriage, because that little stuff can be worked out.
Yeah.
You know, don't let that little stuff like that break up your marriage, and don't let it be doubtful on whether you want to marry this man or this woman or not. And this is your best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So getting married after divorce, getting past that anxiety of doing it, you can do it. It can be done. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust God that you're not making the wrong choice.
Right, exactly.
Okay? Now, if this man is beating you or if this woman is being disrespectful to you before you get married,
don't do it.
You might need to rethink your choices.
That's right.
You have to rethink your choices, okay?
That's right.
So,
because I was beating Renee before we got married, but I stopped.
Why did he stop?
Because you got a gun.
How many?
I don't know. I don't see one.
How many?
I don't see one.
You ain't seen one.
I heard stories.
Okay. So, honey, look, I don't play no beating stuff. But thank God my husband don't put his hands on me, and he don't disrespect me. He's never called me out of my name, you know, and this is, like I said, just 10 years, not 10 years married, but 10 years together. And I can honestly say that not out of those 10 years, he has never called me out of my name. He know that I don't like anyone to curse at me while they're talking to me, you know, like get your ass or, you know, something like that. I don't like that. I feel like that's a disrespect. He don't do that. And I thank God for that. He considers my feelings when he's talking to me or when he's upset with me.
And I call her Stinky Booty. She loves that name. She loves that name.
I hate that. Who calls a grown woman? You think I stink? Do I stink?
No. But we call a baby Stinky Booty.
Yeah, no, you don't call a grown woman Stinky Booty.
Well, it's a baby. You call a baby Stinky Booty? No. You just mean because he's stinky. Come on, Stinky Booty.
My husband needs to learn terms of endearment. Can somebody help him out, please?
Booty.
Can somebody give him some good words like terms of
bird or Stinky Booty?
Who?
Bird.
Don't call me Bird. Tell him why you call me Bird.
Because we'll be on the top, but I'll say, Renee, get me something out your phone. She, okay, I'm going to get the phone. 5 minutes later, I'm like, damn, where's it at? She don't want, totally left. So it's this thing on Facebook, you know, it's about with ADHD, and they're talking about they do everything else, you know, what they're trying to do. And the last thing they say, oh, look, a bird. So every time I ask Renee to go do something, and she'll do it like right away, oh, look, a bird, because her mind went totally left.
I don't know what's going on. Like, the older I've gotten, like, the worse it's gotten. So, I don't understand. I'm trying to get better, y'all. Pray for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is our opinion on getting married after a divorce.
Yes.
I hope that this message helps someone out there who's
Yes.
thinking about it. If anything, I hope you guys are laughing at what we're discussing.
Yes.
And please share and subscribe to our videos.
Please
do.
Please.
We release these every Saturday at midnight. So subscribe to get on. This is very fun. This is very therapeutic.
Yes.
For both of us, and hopefully you too. Okay. All right, so we're gonna end this like we always do with the 1, 2, 3, and
Peace.